Well, the Spanish election fast approaching, of course, this was called on by the socialist PM Pedro Sanchez after the left-wing parties got pretty much annihilated at the recent set of elections. So Pedro Sanchez taking a big gamble. And it's a big gamble because, of course, the trend we've seen recently in European politics, whether it be Italy or Finland or Sweden, has been parties on the right, conservative parties, winning and forming the next government. Now, just to show you what knife edge the Spanish election is currently on, YouGov have used their MRP methodology that they've used previously at UK general elections. They've used this for the Spanish election for the first time, using data from over 10,000 Spanish voters. So that is a pretty big sample size as polling goes. And you see here on the YouGov MRP vote share estimate as it stands, you see the PP, the Popular Party, that's the Conservatives, on 31%. You see the PSOE, it's the Socialist Party, led by the current Spanish PM Pedro Sanchez. They're narrowly behind there on 28. You've then got the right-wing Vox Party on 14 and the left-wing Sumar Party on 14. And when you break down the current seat estimate, you can just see how very close this is when you consider the two things currently being discussed are an alliance potentially between the Popular Party, Conservatives and Vox for the next government, or the PSOE and Sumar left-wing parties. You can see how close this is as it stands. Now, when it comes to what Spanish voters are making of the party leaders during the course of this election campaign, where they've issued a pretty major verdict after a recent Spanish debate. Now, viewers of my channel will know that I cover lots of different topics from around the world when it comes to politics. And an app and website I've started to use, Ground News, really helps to look at how issues are being covered by the media. What's great about Ground News is it shows you all the sources reporting on a specific topic, not just mainstream media. You can see an example of this on Ground News from the recent story I did about Rishi Sunak making a deal with the Italians. You can see there are 13 sources reporting on this, but what's really interesting is that it's mostly being covered by centre and right-leaning publications, which means if you only read left-wing media, you might have missed the story completely. And that's where the blind spot feature on Ground News comes into play. A dedicated feed of stories that are disproportionately covered by only one side of the political spectrum. The app also allows you to easily compare how the media is spinning a story. Make sure you set the edition to the news that's relevant to you, or you can use the map feature to get news from around the world. So go to ground.news/Heaver. I'll put the link in the description of this video and the top pinned comment to get 30% off unlimited access if you want to avoid bias and propaganda in the media. And a big thanks to Ground News for sponsoring today's video. So what's been described as domination really for the Conservative leader against Pedro Sanchez in the big Spanish TV debate. You've now seen the Conservative leader emerging as the winner of that debate against the socialist Spanish PM. There was a poll conducted after that big debate that found 54% of voters backing the Conservative leader having won versus 46% for Sanchez. And interestingly enough, 22% of those who voted for the Socialists in the past election felt the Conservative leader had won the debate, but only 6% of Conservative voters thought that Sanchez had won the debate. And you saw various media outlets there saying that Sanchez was weighed down by his need to win and that he entered every corner in one gear too high, and that's why he ended up crashing into himself. So the real question is, could you then see, as the outcome of this election, after the Conservative leader having won that debate, could you see the Conservatives end up governing with Vox? Well, the indications at the moment are that could indeed be on the cards. That neither of the two main parties will get enough seats for an outright majority. So you are looking either at a right-wing alliance or a left-wing alliance to form the next Spanish government. And as it stands, the Conservatives and Vox together would win 180 seats, just 4 more than the minimum required for a working majority in Parliament. So that 180 is versus the Socialists and the Sumar Party on 140 seats, 40 fewer seats in that latest poll conducted on Monday. So as you can see, it's an election on an absolute knife edge. But you could see Spain become, perhaps, the latest country to replace a left-wing government with a conservative one. Let me know what you make of that prospect in the comments below, guys. I will keep bringing you all the latest on this, of course. So please do whack this video a quick thumbs up. And of course, as ever, cheers for watching.